Hello, this is Marcia MacRae, and some of you may know me from around Temple at Chaim. I'm one of the family members there, and I asked your principal if I could read some stories, because I've done that before at the Temple. You may have heard me read stories, and I'm really glad she said yes. She even brought me some books. So she brought me the book, The Matzah Man, a Passover story. I think it's about to be Passover. Do you have any matzah in your house? Maybe you're going to. This book is by Naomi Howland. She's the author. She wrote the book. Inside Mr. Cohen's bakery, the racks were filled with Passover matzah. The baker rolled out his last scraps of dough. Here's all these round matzahs. He added a bit here and a pinch there and shaped a little man. He pricked the dough all over. You know how matzahs have little holes all over them? Popped it into the oven and closed the door. Mr. Cohen was busy cleaning up when suddenly he smelled the matzah, almost burning. He hurried to the oven and opened the door. But the minute he did, that piece of matzah jumped out and said, "Hot from the oven I jumped and ran, so clever and quick, I'm the Matzah Man." And off that little rascal ran around the sacks of flour, between the legs of the baker, and right out the door. Look how surprised the baker looks. "Stop, Matzah Man!" cried Mr. Cohen, and he began to chase the little Matzah Man. Through the village they raced. A red hen spied the little Matzah Man, crisp and crackly, running by. The Matzah Man said, "Hot from the oven I jumped and ran, so clever and quick, I'm the Matzah Man." "Stop, Matzah Man," clucked the red hen. "You would make a tasty treat for my new chicks." The little Matzah Man looked at the red hen, stuck his nose in the air, and said, "I've run from the baker whose matzah is best, and canoodle, canoodle, canoe, I'll run away from you too." And he went pell-mell over the fence. Pell-mell means really fast. Where'd he go then? Cousin Tilly, I had a cousin Tilly, was sampling her tender Passover brisket when the toasty little Matzah Man rushed past her door. The Matzah Man teased her, saying, "Hot from the oven I jumped and ran, so clever and quick, I'm the Matzah Man." "Stop, Matzah Man!" cried Cousin Tilly. "You'd be the perfect mouthful with my delicious brisket." Do you think that the Matzah Man stops? Let's see. Oh, they're running, and there's Aunt Tilly with her brisket. The little Matzah Man waggled his finger at Cousin Tilly and said, "I've run from the baker whose matzah is best, and from the red hen who left eggs in her nest. And canoodle, canoodle, canoe, I'll run away from you too." And that little scamp raced off down the road. Auntie Bertha was out. Well, look at all these. What's she got? Bags. Where do you think she's been? Auntie Bertha was out shopping in her brand new, beautiful purple shoes. She saw the crunchy Matzah Man running right toward her. The Matzah Man said, "Hot from the oven I jumped and ran, so clever and quick. I'm the Matzah Man. Oh, please stop, Matzah Man, cooed Auntie Bertha. You would look just adorable on the Passover table. Do you think he liked that idea? The little Matzah Man made a rude face at Auntie Bertha and boasted, I've run from the baker, whose matzah is best, and from the red hen, who left eggs in her nest. From old Cousin Tilly with brisket-filled pan and canoodle-canoodle-canoe, I'll run away from you too. And he scooted around the corner. You can see there's the bakery, and there's Aunt Bertha with her bags, and there he goes. If you can see a little tiny, there he goes around the corner. Who's this? Grandpa Solly was chopping onions for his special Passover gefilte fish. The onions were making him cry. But he could still see the Matzah Man through his tears. The Matzah Man said, do you know what he said? Hot from the oven I jumped and ran, so clever and quick, I'm the Matzah Man. Stop, Matzah Man, cried Grandpa Solly. You'd be a delectable nosh with this gefilte fish. The little Matzah Man put his hands on his hips and bragged. I've run from the baker whose matzah is best, and from the red hen who left eggs in her nest, from old Cousin Tilly with brisket-filled pan, and big Auntie Bertha. In high heels she ran. And canoodle-canoodle-canoe, I'll run away from you too. And he sped across the bridge. Look, they're all running right after him. Miss Axelrod, was dropping the last matzo ball into her chicken soup. Oh, I bet it was so yummy and smelled so good. When the brown little Matzah Man ran past, he shouted at her. You know what he shouted? Hot from the oven I jumped and ran, so clever and quick, I'm the Matzah Man. The little Matzah Man had such chutzpah, meaning, well, your parents will tell you what chutzpah means. He said, I've run from the baker whose matzah is best, and from the red hen who left eggs in her nest, from old Cousin Tilly with brisket-filled pan, and big Auntie Bertha, in high heels she ran. Then Grandpa Solly from onions he's crying, and canoodle-canoodle-canoe, I'll run away from you too. And zippity-zip, away he went. A gray goat was pulling tender young radishes out of the garden, wasn't supposed to, when he noticed the tasty little Matzah Man. The Matzah Man stamped his foot and said proudly, hot from the oven I jumped and ran, so clever and quick, I'm the Matzah Man. Stop, Matzah Man, bleated the goat. I would like to have a bite of you. The little Matzah Man laughed and said, I've run from the baker whose matzah is best, and from the red hen who left eggs in her nest. From old Cousin Tilly with brisket-filled pan, and big Auntie Bertha, in high heels she ran. Then Grandpa Solly from onions he's crying, and then from Miss Axelrod, matzo balls flying, and canoodle-canoodle-canoe, I'll run away from you too. And there he ran. And they're all still running. The baker, the brisket, the bags, Aunt Tilly, now the goat. Just at that moment, young Mendel Fox came to the door of his house. What a commotion! Mendel saw the little, that looks like Grandpa Solly. Mendel saw the little Matzah Man running down the road, chased by the gray goat, Miss Axelrod, Grandpa Solly, Auntie Bertha, Cousin Tilly, the red hen, and Mr. Cohen the baker. The Matzah Man looked back over his shoulder and panted. Hot from the oven, I jumped and ran. So clever and quick, I'm the Matzah Man. Stop, Matzah Man, Mendel said. I'll help you. Hide behind me. The Matzah Man flattened himself behind Mendel. They're getting closer, Mendel shouted. Hurry, get behind the cushion. The Matzah Man covered himself with the pillow. I can still see you, cried Mendel. They're coming up the steps. Quick, hide here. The Matzah Man jumped up on the table and slipped beneath the matzah cover. Matzah is what that says. Mr. Cohen looked around. Did you see a little piece of matzah run this way? Isn't that a strange question to ask? Mendel shrugged. Miss Axelrod peeked under the table. The red hen picked up the cushion on Grandpa Solly's chair. No one could find the Matzah Man. So one by one, the tired guests plopped down in their seats around the table. Let's begin the Seder, said Mendel. He handed his grandfather the plate of matzah. Grandpa Solly reached under the matzah cover. Snap! The matzah was broken. The plate was passed around the table. Tasty matzah, said the gray goat between bites. Now the horseradish was making Grandpa Solly cry. He nibbled a piece of matzah, so crunchy and delicious. He said through his tears, the best matzah we ever ate, agreed Cousin Tilly, Auntie Bertha, and Miss Axelrod. The red hen pecked at her matzah. Crispy. Mr. Cohen smiled. Everybody ate a piece of matzah, except Mendel Fox. He had 2 pieces. And that was the end of the Matzah Man. I hope you enjoyed that story. Have a good Passover. I hope to see you soon.